The last time the Super Bowl came to the Superdome, it was a disaster.
New Orleans Stadium, the Superdome here, is out.
In the middle of the third quarter, with over 100 million people watching, half of the venue was plunged into darkness. It became one of the biggest blunders in Super Bowl history, delaying the game by over half an hour and leaving a lasting stain on both the city and the stadium. But this time around, New Orleans isn't taking any chances. As the city prepares to host its record-tying 11th Super Bowl, things are vastly different. With hundreds of millions of dollars poured into renovations and major infrastructure upgrades, every detail has been scrutinized to ensure a seamless experience. Let's dive into how the city and organizers have been preparing to reclaim the Super Bowl spotlight for all the right reasons. New Orleans began this year on a turbulent note, enduring record-breaking snowfall and a devastating terror attack on New Year's morning. Yet, in the face of hardship, these events have sparked a renewed sense of unity. Through it all, the city's landmarks remain symbols of resilience, none more so than the Superdome, a structure deeply tied to New Orleans' history and spirit. But how did such an iconic venue come to be? The Superdome was originally conceived to secure an NFL franchise for New Orleans. Inspired by Houston's Astrodome, Louisiana's governor famously declared in 1966, "I want one of these, only bigger." Days after the city was awarded a team, bonds were approved and construction began. Originally designed as a multi-sport venue, delays pushed its completion to August 1975, with costs soaring from $46 million to $165 million. Since opening, the Superdome has hosted major events: Super Bowls, basketball, baseball, boxing, wrestling, concerts, and so much more. In 2005, it became a grim emblem of Hurricane Katrina's devastation, serving as a last resort shelter. Though engineered to withstand 200-mile-per-hour winds, it sustained heavy damage and required $185 million in repairs. After extensive renovations, the stadium reopened in September 2006 with a celebrated Saints game against the Falcons. Upgrades between 2008 and 2011 modernized seating, club lounges, and its champagne bronze exterior. Mercedes-Benz acquired naming rights in 2011 before Caesars Entertainment rebranded it as Caesars Superdome in 2021.
Surreal.
To secure the bid for this record-tying 11th Super Bowl, the state and the Saints organization committed to a massive $560 million renovation, and they delivered. While the outside of the building remains largely unchanged, the interior has been completely overhauled, enhancing both functionality and the fan experience. The most significant change was the removal of two large ramps that once led fans to the upper sections of the stadium. This modification opened up 100,000 square feet inside without expanding the building's footprint, creating a more spacious and efficient venue. The old ramps were replaced with escalators, and 3 new light-filled atriums were created that greatly improved the flow of people throughout the stadium. These changes made it faster for fans to navigate the venue, reducing the time it took to move between levels. Additionally, the removal of the ramps allowed for wider concourses, new bars, and food markets, significantly improving the experience. One of the core goals of the renovation was to bring a sense of connectivity to the building, allowing fans to easily move between different areas or neighborhoods within the stadium. The improvements make it more interactive for fans and provide quicker access to premium areas and amenities. Additionally, the project included expansion of the suites and the creation of a 4,000 square foot end zone club. Behind the scenes, the renovation also updated critical systems to improve safety, comfort, and efficiency. The new atriums were cleverly used to house smoke exhaust systems, reducing the need for bulky ductwork. The stadium structure was also brought up to modern building codes, with the addition of new elevators and viewing areas. The improvements ensure that the Superdome remains a premier venue for high-profile sporting events for at least the next 25 years, and this was the main focus of all this work. For these renovations, the Saints contributed $180 million, or about 32% of the total cost. The remaining $380 million came from the Louisiana Stadium and Exposition District, or LSED, which contributed $326 million, and the state of Louisiana, which pitched in $54 million. Since both the state and LSED are public entities, one might wonder why such a significant investment was made. First, it's important to note that LSED owns and operates the Superdome, making it logical for them to cover at least a portion of the costs. But these upgrades also serve a broader purpose. By enhancing the stadium's capabilities, they increase the chance of hosting major events over the next 2 decades, ultimately generating more revenue for the state and stadium authority. As someone who's not personally a fan of using public money for sports venues, and while some critics argue that this project isn't entirely justified, it does make more sense than most others I talk about on this channel. At the very least, it guarantees another Super Bowl for the city, something many other publicly funded stadiums can't say. The last Super Bowl in New Orleans generated an estimated $480 million in economic impact, and projections for 2025 suggest that number could approach $600 million. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not just the stadium that needs to be ready for an event of this scale. If the infamous 2013 blackout taught the country anything, it's that every supporting system needs to be better prepared. To ensure the city can handle the global spotlight, New Orleans has been working on nearly 500 infrastructure and improvement projects. As of early January, over 90% of them were completed, and by now that number is likely near 100%. Key among these improvements is the revitalization of Poydras Street, a major artery leading to the Superdome. This vital street has not seen substantial updates since the 1970s, and the ongoing upgrades are critical for managing traffic and providing safe access to the stadium, especially given New Orleans storm-related challenges. The city is expanding its event footprint beyond the Superdome, upgrading sidewalks, crossings, and parking for better traffic flow. A new rideshare hub near City Hall will improve transportation, while shuttles will accommodate high-profile guests. And in case you're curious about the power company, the 2013 blackout was caused by a malfunction in a relay device within the switchgear, an essential piece of equipment that steps down high voltage power for distribution to the stadium. The switchgear was located in the Superdome's vault, roughly a quarter mile away from the venue, where Entergy supplies power. The relay was designed to prevent outages, but when it failed, it caused a delay in restoring power. Since then, Entergy has replaced the faulty equipment, and the Superdome has upgraded its lighting by replacing the old metal halide lights with faster acting LED lights, which don't take as long to come back on after a power disruption. The extended delay during the Super Bowl was partly due to the time it took for the old lights to reboot. However, the Superdome's power system now has built-in redundancies to ensure more reliability. In addition to the primary feed, there are backup and third feed options in place. Entergy also has 2 substations that can provide additional power to the Superdome if needed. And for the Super Bowl, the utility will have a mobile command center in place with personnel monitoring the event closely to ensure any issues are quickly addressed. Hosting the Super Bowl is no small feat, and New Orleans is fully committed to making it a success. As the nation's eyes turn to the city in early February, extensive upgrades and strategic planning ensure it's ready to showcase its unmatched hospitality and pride on the global stage. At Buildcore, we're building America, one story at a time. We cover some of the most impressive and headline-grabbing projects across this great country, and with your help, the channel has grown to almost 30,000 subscribers in just over a year. With that being said, thank you, and I'll see you next time.